I can explain. Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in that situation. Well, it all started back in the summer of '86. Hello friends, my name is Dante, and I'd like to welcome you all to Dead Rising. Dead Rising is known as the game where you can literally use anything as a weapon. A shovel? Okay. A baseball bat? Sure, why not? A freaking shelving unit? Oh! The fun never ends. But today I decided no, I will not degrade myself to use such weapons against the undead. Today, I'm gonna do it Rocky Balboa style, baby. To make things really simple, I'm only allowed to use my body as a weapon. Punches, kicks, double lariats, all that good stuff. I'm also not allowed to play New Game Plus. Just like a creepy guy under a bridge that has candy, this game really tries to lure you into quitting the game and starting a new one with your current level, and that's just unacceptable. I have to start a fresh new game as a level 1 and beat the entire storyline with nothing but pure muscle definition. Oh, and I only have 72 in-game hours to do this, which is 6 real-life hours. Wish me luck. My Tuesday morning started like any other, taking pictures of people being tickled by cute, cuddly demons and being yeeted off the top of buildings. Just another average, ordinary day in the town of Bel Air. My boy Ed landed the helicopter beautifully, and this is where I met Carlito, the fastest man in all of... Offensive, Dante, stop, I can't take joke. Carlito was being very passive-aggressive towards me, and it was making me slightly uncomfortable. So, I thought I'd break the ice by taking a picture of him and putting it in my wallet. I even got a little carried away. Ugh! Zero pee-pee? You're not the man I thought you were, Carlito. I entered the mall, and my eyes were immediately drawn to a beautiful female. Oh yeah! What's up, girl? The simp police cut me off from looking at that fine piece of meat, and understandably so. I wasn't here to get distracted by beautiful women. I was here to find my long-lost twin brother, Brad. That didn't stop me from snagging a few pictures for later, though. As if my dream woman wasn't perfect enough already, I found out that she had the strength of a god. Unfortunately, she was quickly eaten up, and my life was slightly more depressing because of it.
Are you one of those single-tier people?
No. That's when I found Brad. I may have lost my soulmate, but at the same time, I had found my best friend.
Everyone, move this way! Quick, to the stairs!
No! We fight! I jumped headfirst into the horde of zombies and started throwing fists left and right. Imagine my surprise when I found out Kathy and Alan weren't practicing social distancing. 6 feet apart, Alan! Things weren't looking great, so I booked it to the stairs.
Huh? Where are the others?
I don't know. I hope they got away.
6 feet apart, Alan! This was my first time meeting Jessie, and goddamn! I knew I had to make a good first impression with her.
Could you show me some pictures, Frank?
Oh god. The only picture I have is of Carlito's crotch. But she kind of reminded me of my 3rd grade teacher, so I felt the need to give her the evidence to my crime.
I took that one near the entrance.
It was time for me to set off into the mall and make a name for myself. That's when I met Jeff, guardian of the elevator. I tried my best to avoid him, but he was unrelenting. So unrelenting, in fact, that he completely forced my hand, and I had no choice but to beat the shit out of him in front of his own wife. It was a heated battle. Blood was flying everywhere, bodies were tumbling around like fish out of water, and Jeff became so desperate that he even activated his domestic dispute trap card. Despite my disadvantages, I was finally able to trap Jeff in a corner, and there is where he breathed his last breath.
Oh, nice! Hold that pose!
As I lay there on the couch with my chocolate milk in hand, I thought about everything that had led to this moment. 6 feet apart, Alan! Back off, punk! I'll beat the shit out of you in front of your wife. What'll that say? Then I remembered what my father had told me as a child.
You will honor your mother and abandon this path you have chosen.
From here on out, I promised myself that I would not partake in any more senseless murder or act like a fool in front of my friends. It was time to man up.
Fantastic!
Brad needed my help now more than ever. Carlito had gone insane and it was my job to slap some sense into him. Before doing anything too hasty, I threatened Carlito with posting his crotch shot in my school newspaper if he didn't stop, but he didn't take that very well. I grabbed my chalky milk and my bottles of alcohol and I charged at the guy. Carlito was a fierce competitor and this fight took a lot out of me, but somehow I was able to slap his cheeks enough for them to become beet red and the man knew where to cut his losses.
You're one hell of a journalist, aren't you, Frank? A hot-headed, underhanded, hotshot paparazzi with nothing better to do than to invade people's privacy.
I've covered wars, you know.
You win, Frank. Let's work together.
Life was good. Life was great. I even met a man who was extremely like-minded to me and he took it upon himself to show me the best pictures he had taken all day.
Feast your eyes on my work. Now this is my most emotionally moving shot. Now this is my sexiest shot.
Ugh! This kid clearly had no taste. Everyone knows the sexiest picture known to man is flamboyant Shrek. I began my journey to find the odd old man. Being at an incredibly low level, I was weak as heck and I knew I had to start training my body harder if I was gonna get out of this mess. With only 65 hours left to go, I began my training regimen. My homeboy Brad called me up and told me that Carlito was sniping innocent bystanders. This fight was even harder than the first one. This man had impeccable aim, and to make things even worse, when I wasn't getting shot, Brad was. It hurts my soul to say this, but it was time to play dirty. I decided that Brad would be the bait while I ran around the mall and attacked Carlito from behind. It wasn't a flawless plan, but it was the best one I had. After failing over and over and over again, we finally had Carlito right where we wanted him. I had been distracting him in a random shop window by jumping up and down, while Brad surely but slowly whittled his health down to almost nothing. After 5 minutes of this, it wasn't looking like Brad could finish the job, so it was up to me. I was down to 0 health items and it had taken half an hour for me to reach this point, so let's just say, I wasn't feeling very confident. I charged in head first, but that snake Carlito had a grenade in his back pocket. I took the blast like a champ and took cover. I thought I was safe, but Brad turned on me and shot me in the side of the head. Brad, we were brothers, and he had the audacity to try and blow my brains out when I wasn't looking. And to make things even worse, Carlito finished me off right after that. I promised Brad right then and there that I'd be the one to put him in his grave. After playing this part a dozen more times, the big dum-dum hurt himself with his own grenade and he fell defeated with a bullet to the back and a punch to the face. During the battle, Brad had been shot in the leg and he was passed out in the safe room bed. It was up to me to get him some medicine, but to be honest, I wasn't feeling very motivated. After Brad's betrayal, I just didn't know if I could bring myself to save him. Jessie suggested that I take a picture of him so that anytime I got unmotivated in my journey to get Brad's antibiotics, I'd see the picture and remember what I was fighting for. It was a great idea. Before I could get Brad's medicine, I had to defeat the keeper of the bread. Because I was in a grocery store with infinite health items, I wasn't too nervous about this fight. Except for the fact that I was frigging timed! In fact, the first time I tried this fight, I defeated the grocery man, grabbed the medication, and made my way back to Brad. But when I gave the medication to Jessie, I found out that I had failed because I took way too long to get Brad his medication. I decided to reload my last checkpoint and try again, but at that point, I wasn't sure I'd be able to complete the challenge. I hightailed it to the grocery store, kicked the store owner's butt, and grabbed the medication with a sliver of time to spare. My nerves were at an all-time high and my heart was beating at the speed of lightning. Even though it seemed like I still didn't have enough time to make it, when I opened the door and handed the meds to Jessie, I found out that I had actually just made it. Now, it was time to fight Isabella, also known as Carlito's sister. She was on a motorcycle and the slightest touch would send me 50 feet into the air. Punches were completely useless against her and my health was extremely limited to whatever I could find in the room. It wasn't looking good and I was at a loss. That is, until I found out that the jump kick was actually really effective against Isabella. Long story short, anytime Isabella would drive past me, I'd slam my foot straight into her face and after doing this enough times, she finally gave up. By the way, all boss fights will be on my Dante Ravioli proof channel. And while you're at it, go follow me on Instagram at danteravioli.yt. I put up lots of funny pictures over there. I was doing surprisingly well, and I was excited to start saving some survivors. And wouldn't you know it, I came across 2 survivors clinging for their lives above 2 hordes of man-eating zombies. Being the good person I am, I immediately jumped in and started fighting the horde with nothing but my fists. It was the most difficult battle of my life, and at a certain point, I realized I wasn't strong enough to help these people, so I ran away. because I realized that the only way I could defeat this horde was if I was more prepared. I made a quick detour to the food court, filled my inventory with alcohol, put on my battle suit, made my way to the center of the horde of the undead, and started throwing fists. Some would say I was at a disadvantage. Others would say there was no way I'd be able to achieve such a feat. Well, I'm here today to tell you that they're wrong, because I killed every single brain-dead demon in that pit with nothing but my bare fists.
Who's a coward now, mama?
I had finally proven to myself that I was ready for the salty spittoon. Unfortunately, after taking down the entire horde single-handedly, I found out that the only way to get the people down from the bunny was by throwing something at them. I would never subject myself to hurting innocent people. I was the hero of this mall. Not the hero this mall needed, but the hero this mall deserved. Here's a heartwarming story for you. I went out of my way to find a poor old man in an antique shop and bring him to safety. Of course though, it wasn't as simple as that. This poor old man was being guarded by a family of 3 psychopath snipers. It was time for me to put on my hero cape once again and slaughter this entire family. Come here, boy, I'm gonna kill you in front of your daddy. I chased that boy for a solid 10 minutes and only got a few good hits in, so I made the executive decision to go save the old man and slip out of there before the sniper boys even had a chance to kill me. His name was Floyd, and Floyd was great. We were in the middle of an epic conversation when all of a sudden, we started getting shot at. I acted quick. Dressed in all pink, I dodge rolled my way to the front door and locked the 2 dum-dums in the shop with me. It was over for them. Luckily, these idiots forgot how to use a door during this pandemic, so it was really easy for me to just sit there and use them as a punching bag. It was kinda depressing, actually. They both got stuck on a wall, and I was just sitting there beating the absolute crap out of them until they checked out of this earthly realm. The last one was a slippery snake, that was for sure. I was gonna let the little doofus go, but he just had to shoot Floyd, and that was completely unacceptable. The kid had some brains. Not much, but at least a little bit more than his family, so he needed a bit more strategy on my part to trap. I went back into the antique shop, comforted Floyd by letting him ride on my back, and waited for the small child to be lured into the shop of death. Slowly but surely, he creeped his way closer and closer into the shop, and the moment it was too late for him to turn back, I trapped him with us and gave him the same punishment his family had gotten. I was a little upset that Floyd's first impressions of me were killing an entire family with my bare hands, but I'm sure he understood the situation. To celebrate, we both chugged an entire bottle of alcohol and off we went.
Power of the press!
He was my new best friend, and I was gonna protect him with my life.
Don't just stand there and watch. Help me out.
I tried having Floyd as a partner along this journey, you know, my little deputy, but I quickly found out that his old man frame wasn't built to fight zombies like I had hoped. In other words, he was completely useless. In fact, I brought him along to help me save Isabella, but literally the only thing he did was cry as she got eaten. Punching this zombie did nothing, and I was afraid the challenge ended here. Until I found out Frank could kick. Apparently holding square lets Frank kick, and I had gotten this far into the game without even knowing that was a thing. It was my job to carry Isabella to the safe house, which unfortunately meant I had to leave Floyd behind. But, you know, I just couldn't do my boy like that. He was my best friend. So instead, I manned up, loaded my last save, and brought this pure soul to the safe house before helping Isabella. I couldn't let him die. I needed Floyd's sweet pee-pee. And no, I'm not talking about that pee-pee. I'm talking about this pee-pee. And he was 69 years old! I knew there was something special about you, Floyd. Isabella was now safe. I took some more pictures for the news article I was gonna write later, and somehow I found myself in a cult hideout. The head cultist was pretty spooky, and he charged at me with a huge sword. There was no way for me to get close to him, and anytime I did, he'd immediately swipe at me and take away half of my health with his huge weapon. Luckily, he must have only had 7 brain cells because all I had to do was jump up on the stage in the front and smash him in the face with my knee until he was defeated. And it's a good thing the cult followers were pretty easy to take out. That's when I unlocked the double lariat, and goddamn was it ever amazing! I could take out an entire horde of zombies in as little as 10 seconds, and from here on out, this was the main move I used against all enemies. Now, the bomb part was tough. I couldn't use a vehicle to get myself around the underground maintenance tunnels like usual since it counted as a weapon, and this severely set me back. The zombies I could handle. There were so many of them packed in the tunnels, but I knew I could dodge them if I played my cards right. So of course, Carlito had to butt in and try to run me over while I was also trying to dodge hundreds of zombies at once. I was really starting to hate Carlito. Eventually, after failing a few times, I was finally able to gather all of the bombs in the tunnels, and like the hero I was, I removed them from the building just in the nick of time. Brad was a bit braver than me and decided that he'd be going after Carlito. They had an epic battle and they were both severely injured, but Carlito got the best of Brad and locked him in the maintenance tunnels. Because we were both twins, I received some kind of telepathic communication that Brad was in trouble, and I booked it to the zombie-infested tunnels. I rounded the corner and there he was, sitting on the ground all by himself, looking as handsome as ever. Except he had a pile of spaghetti on his lap. I knew it was over for him. After everything we had been through together, this is how it ended. He slid his gun over to me and I didn't know if I could do it. But before I could make a decision, he turned into a zombie right in front of me. You were a good partner, Brad, and an even better friend. Find your way to a better place, brother. Carlito! That night, I had a horrible sleep. With 16 hours left to go, I tracked Carlito down with everything I had. The last time we had seen him, he was being dragged into the meat processing area by a big boy, and I knew this was my chance to put an end to that piece of garbage once and for all. The meat man was a tough boy, and he even had a move that pretty well insta-killed me every single time. He'd pick me up, place me on a meat hook, and proceed to cut me up until I made a Roblox oof sound effect. But come on guys, it's me. Just like the Sean fight and the sniper fight, I found an exploit. When Larry is hanging you on the hook, you can spam your camera button over and over and over again, which immediately drops you from it. You do have to dodge immediately or he'll grab you again, and it doesn't work every time, but the single exploit alone got me through this area. I defeated him double lariat style, and it was time for me to confront Carlito for the final time. I tried intimidating him into giving me the password for the computer, but with the outfit I was wearing, it didn't work very well. That piece of garbage died from blood loss, and it was time to make my way back to Isabella. I took some pictures of her for my article and told her that her brother had died. This sparked an aha moment in Isabella, and she found out the password was Gucci Mane or something like that. The mall was saved! I headed back to the safe house to tell Jessie about how awesome I was, but she had turned into a frigging zombie. How? Barnaby didn't even bite her. Are you kidding me? I couldn't kill Jessie. She was my friend. Oh no! Jessie! Please don't bite me there. Someone help! I'm taking this picture for my article. With 13 hours on the clock, all that was left to do was kill some soldiers with my double lariat until the helicopter arrived. I even found a great place in the grocery store to trap a whole unit of enemies, which made it incredibly easy to level up. I may have been dressed like a fruitcake, but that didn't stop me from taking out a whole squad of armed soldiers barehanded. I arrived at the helipad at noon the next day and looked out to the outside world as I reflected on everything that had happened these past 3 days. That's when I heard the faint sound of a helicopter in the distance. It was Ed! I was saved!
Yeah, you did it! You did it! Yeah, yeah!
Honestly, the rest of the game isn't that important to cover. Somehow I got infected with the virus, I go around the mall finding the cure, I protect Isabella in some spooky caves under the clock tower, I have to shoot the army commander's tank right at the end of the game. God damn it! And I put an end to the psycho army commander with my fists. Again, all boss fights will be on my Danteravioli proof channel. So, was I able to beat Dead Rising without weapons? I mean, no, I guess? It's like every challenge I do always screws me right at the end. Resident Evil 7 knife only? Nope, sorry, you have to use a gun at the end. Dying Light without weapons? Nope, you have to use a machete at the end. Even though I didn't count it for being a semi-cutscene. I'm sick of this shit! I'll let you guys be the judges on whether or not I completed this challenge. 20 hours of flawless gameplay, and I fail right at the end. I hope you boys enjoyed this video as much as I did. Subscribe to me if you did, because I make new gaming challenge videos every single week, and make sure you click that bell. If you don't click that bell, you pretty well aren't subscribed to me, so make sure you click that bell. And tell me in the comments what game I should do next. Should I do God of War? Another Resident Evil 3? Mario? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Check out the plethora of other gaming challenges on my channel, and I'll see you. Thick boys! in my next video.